welcoming onto the show, we got Kirsten Badowski, probably the shortest person you will ever meet.
Yep. Shortest girl you'll ever meet.
How tall are you, Kirsten, if you don't mind me asking?
I say 6'2" now. Because
Okay.
if I say 6'1", people are like, you're not 6'1". So I say 6'2".
I say 6'2" as well. And let me tell you, I get a lot of looks the other way. They're like, yeah, this guy's.
Yep. I say 6'2", and I am a solid 6'1" without shoes on. So anything, I'm 6'2".
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so respectable. All right, Kirsten, tell us a little bit about yourself. As most people know, you're a big volleyball player. So kind of tell us where that started.
I've been playing volleyball since I was third grade. I am the youngest in a family of athletes, and my sister was a volleyball player, and so I just kind of followed footsteps. And I played all the way through Brunswick, and I now play in college at UNCW, and that's North Carolina, Wilmington. So I'm right on the beach.
Tough life.
Yeah. Tough life.
Yeah, that sounds way better than here.
Yeah, it is.
At Ohio State, I'll go out and try to get some sun rays at Mirror Lake right there. It'll be like 40 degrees out, and I'll get like the tanner going. I'm a perfect bronze by April. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm a perfect bronze. That's funny. So tell us a little bit about being a volleyball player, D1 athlete. I mean, obviously that's, there's a lot on the plate there. So, if you got any stories, whatever, freelance, who cares?
I would even just say being a college athlete is a grind, and like you don't really know it until you kind of look back at it and you kind of start not comparing yourself to others, but just like kind of realize that you're living a different college than other people are. And it's not, I mean, it is, I don't know, it's hard. It's definitely hard, but it's just a whole different kind of vibe. I mean, you got expectations for you got expectations and standards, I guess, for like people having eyes on you all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
For everything you do. So, and it's not like I haven't, I mean, even in high school, you play sports and you got eyes on you, and, being recruited, it's always kind of been there, and a lot of college athletes get that. But the grind is a grind. I mean, it's more a time thing. It's just like, we don't have the time to do anything. Or you have to make it, and you have to really set your priorities straight. And it's definitely, when I look back at it, and now I look back at it, but even I think I don't know about 20 years, but I look back at it as probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do throughout my life.
That's
and
awesome.
Get through mentally, physically, but it's a grind.
Oh, I believe it. Take us through what a day looks like for you in season.
Yeah, day in season. I mean, I could take you almost through like a week, but day would be like Monday, 7 a.m. lift. So I get up at 6:25, which is like pretty late. Like I'm a get every minute I can kind of girl. So I wake up at 6:25. I live about 5 minutes from the gym. Get in my car, go. We're there. I mean, we got to be in at 7, and then lift for an hour, come back. And then we schedule all our classes in between. At least for my team, we have our practices 3 to 6 every day. But you got to be done with class by 1:45. You basically most likely are in the gym by 1:45 too. So I have class from right after lift to that 1:45 time slot, I guess. And it just kind of depends on your schedule. You could have online classes, you could have no classes, you could have all classes. So as you get older, it gets a little harder. But
now, do you take summer classes to kind of ease the schedule for the fall?
I don't. My scholarship doesn't cover that, so I don't do that.
So you just overloaded?
It would be very helpful. But I'm pretty overloaded. So I was supposed to take 20 credits next semester.
Holy shit.
That was gonna be my off-season schedule. But I didn't get it, actually, unfortunately. But it's tough. But it's it's all day, and then you get out of practice. It's, it's 6 o'clock, but you're actually leaving at like 6:40, like 6:45. So it's like you don't really have time in your day to do a lot of any extra activities, or you really, really got to make the time.
Now, if you make the time, what's a fun activity you like to do? Like, what's something you guys are doing? Go to the beach? Like, is that like?
You could go to the beach, you could go out to eat, you could, like, I have a lot of there's a lot of like church stuff going on. So I'm always like out going to like hang out with my friends, because that's a big thing. I'm with my teammates like 24/7. So if I can go see someone who's not on my team, it's like a big deal for me. It's like I need to go, be around some different people. So that's a fun thing, is kind of just getting out of a volleyball environment for a little bit. Because that's a really dragging part of being an athlete, is like you're just with the same people 24/7. And probably most athletes live with their teammates as well. So I'm with 3 of the girls in my class, and I've lived with them since my freshman year, and they're awesome. But yeah, we live together, sleep together, wake up together, drive to get to the gym together. Like we do everything together. So it is a lot, and I love them, but yeah, you could always use some alone time. Like even just alone time is like free time fun for me. Just going and sitting in the library is fun. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, don't say anything that's going to get you in trouble, because we've had some guests in the past say something. I don't expect you to do that, though.
Random shout out to Brian Hama. Just coincidental. That has no connection at all, but I just want to say shout out Brian Hama.
Trouble from his coach. But anyway, do you think that like in your classes that the professors are a little bit more lenient towards you on maybe like deadlines or even grading or anything like that? Or is it pretty standard?
Up to this point, especially because of COVID, because a lot's been online, they don't really know who we are, at least for me. In my school, I go to a school. Yeah, I go to school that's like 20,000 kids. So it's pretty big. I mean, it's not small. It's not Ohio State humongous, but yeah, I mean, online classes, no professor knows who you are. In class, we do, the one kind of like flex that you kind of get to give is, at least for me, when I'm a fall in season, right at the start of the class, like kind of like through syllabus week, we have sheets that we have to go up and give the teacher and say, hey, I'm a student athlete. These are the dates that I can't, here's all my games. Here's all the days I won't be here. Here's all the days that, we're traveling. We got stuff to do. So they know who you are if it is an in-person, and they kind of are like, okay. But I mean, I've never had to really get like a huge extension or anything.
Right.
But it is very helpful when you're scheduling. You get to schedule your classes like 3 weeks before anyone else does, which isn't really like, everyone kind of is like, oh my God, you're so lucky, but it's really just to get it. So because I can't have classes from 3 to 6, like I have to get that class that is in that like 8 a.m. to 11 o'clock time slot. And if I don't, I can't take it. So it's kind of like, you kind of have to have that. Like we wouldn't be able to attend school if we didn't have that. So it's kind of necessary. And then yeah, I mean, when I'm kind of trying to get into certain classes and stuff, I'll pull hey, I'm a student athlete, I'll pull the card, but who knows what it could get you. But some professors don't like it, and they're kind of like,
I was just about to ask, are any professors, you tell them you're a student athlete, do they like, any of them roll their eyes like, oh, I got to put up with this again? Or
I've never experienced it, but I am sure for like sports like basketball and stuff, they do, because those kids never can go to class. They're traveling all the time. I am lucky that my game days are on the weekends, so I'm traveling. If I'm missing a day, it's a Friday or a Thursday. But so like basketball schedules, some of the different sports, it kind of just depends. Like they'll play on a Tuesday, Friday, and they'll be gone the entire week. They will never make a day of class, and that's definitely really hard for a professor to try to like deal with that. So I get it both ways.
Yeah, for sure. you touched on a little bit, which is kind of the reason why I wanted to bring you on the podcast. I think it's super cool that you're a D1 volleyball player and all that. But the thing that caught my eye is that you've been very open on social media. I don't know, lately, probably in the last year, about your faith. And you touched on it a little bit hanging out with your church friends, but take us down that journey a little bit, how you got there and things like that. Cause it's really inspiring for me. Cause I think there's a lot of people our age that do believe, but aren't open to it, or may feel that they'll be judged if they post things about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like share my entire testimony because I could stay here for 3 hours and do that. But I guess I'll just go through. I grew up, which probably similar to you guys or similar to your friends. I grew up here in Brunswick, and I was Catholic, and I was baptized when I was a baby. I went through confirmation. I did all that kind of stuff, but I didn't like, none of it was really ever impactful to me. Like it was just kind of like me going through the motions. My parents kind of just like, hey, this is what you do, and like my friends are doing it, so it didn't feel like I was doing something weird. It was just like,
that's
huge. It was
huge.
Just kind of like, no, everyone does this,
right? That's
like,
such a good point.
No one questioned it. Like no one really questioned it. Like I cried before going to PSR. Like I wanted my volleyball practices to be on PSR Tuesdays. Like I did not want to go to PSR.
That is so accurate. Like, I wanted to play basketball.
What was that? Like, and it was just, and a big part of that too was like my parents weren't huge with their faith in God. Like it wasn't something that they were pushing on me as a kid. So I was never praying, or like I didn't have a Bible. I didn't have like, it was just this weird thing that was in my life. So anyways, I go to college down south, and that was kind of where I really started to kind of question that part of my life. Like I noticed, like, obviously down south and up north was really different, just culturally. Like I noticed that there's just churches on every single corner, on every single street, like different sizes, different kinds. And it was just like, wow, okay, that's like, there are a lot of churches down here, and then a big thing was just like meeting so many people and making friends and realizing that they were just like, God first, God is everything, God is life, like God, like just, and I was just like, what am I missing? Like, what did I miss growing up? Because God is not first in my life. It was just kind of like, what did these people get from this that I like didn't, like I'm missing something. Like I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So then really I started to kind of just question, like really doubt my own faith. Like I was kind of like, am I a Catholic? Like, should I be? Because it was kind of like, when people would ask me like, are you religious? And it would be like, yeah, I'm a Catholic. But then I would have to like, yeah, like, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm a Catholic.
Right. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
What is the definition of that?
Like,
right.
I didn't want to like, and people would start trying to have these spiritual conversations with me. And I literally was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So then I was kind of like, okay, I figured out that I'm not really a Catholic, or maybe I don't really believe in God, or maybe like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, okay, that's not like where I'm at right now. So like time went by, and that was kind of happening. And then on the other side of my life, I was just kind of like, I don't know, I was just kind of losing myself. I felt very lost. I was just like, what is my purpose in life? Like, what am I doing here? What am I meant to do? Where am I? Like, am I happy right now? Like, and it was just kind of happening simultaneously, but I didn't really connect the two at all. And so I'm starting to get curious about God. And my brother had kind of gone through this spiritual transformation when he was in college, and I didn't think much of it. But when I was starting to kind of get curious about it, I was like, who's someone that can help me? Like, I need help. Like, I was trying to read the Bible, and this thing was gibberish to me. I was like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know, like, how do I even get a Bible? I was like watching videos on YouTube, like trying to learn. And I was just like, I'm so lost. Who can help me? And I asked my brother, and he was like, oh my gosh, I've been praying about this for forever. Like, blah, blah, of course I'll help you, And so I'm learning about this life. And it wasn't really like, I want to believe in this. It was more just like, I want to know what this is. And like, you know, even if I don't believe in it, I would like to know like what other people are believing in, you know, like it's such a big part of people's lives. And like, I don't even know what it is, you know? So, yeah, so I'm kind of living these like two different, I'm like learning about this thing, and then I'm also lost like on the other side, like not really happy with myself and who I was becoming. And then it just kind of hit a point for me, and it was like a very big point in my testimony, I would say, but just like I was like, it was kind of like my breaking point. Like I was like, I'm lost. This is not who I want to be. I need a change in my life. Like I need to change. And it's so weird because at the same time I didn't really notice. And I can look back and see this all like and the dots connecting, but like at the time it was just like life. And like the same exact time where I hit my breaking point, like the world shut down, like COVID happened. And it was like at the time it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, COVID, like extra week of spring break, like let's go, right? And this is like this like best time ever, like oh 100%. My gosh, like I'm gonna bring all my friends to school, like Ohio State shut down, but like the beach isn't, you know, like I was like, oh, this is awesome. But no, like not how it went, obviously. Came back home, and I was still like, I was very broken, but I was on this just like very motivational, I don't know, very motivated to learn the Bible. And like literally the world shut down for me to do that, to like sit alone in my room, isolated, not being able to see my friends, not being able to like have school and stress around me. It's literally like God shut down the world so that I could like focus on this part of my life and like rebuild myself. And it was like crazy. Like I look at it now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that was, you know, it was meant to happen. Like I look back on 2020 and I'm like, that was the best year of my life. Like I don't know what I would have done without COVID happening. So that was like a big pivotal moment. And so really over COVID, my brother got married, and he was supposed to have a big wedding, didn't have a big wedding because of COVID, obviously, and it turned out to just be immediate family. He's like, look, you're the only believer in our family. Like, I want you to marry me and Shelby. Like, you know, getting married is, it's a Christian thing. Like, it's part of the Bible. It's uniting us with God. And like, you're the only one that knows God, like, other than us. Like, I want you to unite us. So big part of that was like, well, like, yeah, like I do believe, but like, we had talked about getting baptized, and I was like, okay, well, I need to get baptized before I do that, you know? So got baptized the day before I got married, Hilton Head in the ocean. Wow. Brother baptized me. That was really awesome. Big moment. And yeah, like from there, I've like totally had a 360 on life and perspective, and obviously still growing, still changing and figuring out myself, but I definitely have like a better path and like outlook on it, and some direction, feels like. And I wasn't like, I felt so lost, and now I like feel like God has me exactly where I'm supposed to be, and at like every moment. And like even when I felt lost, like I can look back and be like, oh my gosh, God, like he wanted me to be lost. Like I wasn't lost, like he put me there, you know? And so yeah, it's a big
that's
yeah, that I mean that's incredible. I'm really glad you just broke that down in that long story. I know we had you talking there, but I was just kind of lost in it because I was listening. Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. So do you think being surrounded by, so do most of your friends at school believe?
I would say so at first, so when I went back to school, obviously COVID happened, and then it was like, all right, gotta go back to school, gotta back to life. Like, what is that gonna look like? What is that gonna be like? None of my friends here in Brunswick were really Christians. At least like none of them were reading the Bible, I guess I should say, and like understood like how I was starting to understand it. And so when I went back to school, I also had no one. I was like, okay, I had one guy in my life that like was kind of my friend that I could confide in, and then my brother. And I was like on a journey to like, I also didn't have a church either. So when I was with when I was in COVID, like learning, I was by myself. Like I was in my room by myself, learning, reading, like listening to sermons on like podcasts, on Apple Podcasts. Like I was just like doing that all by myself. So going back, I was like, well, obviously, you know, I kind of realized like church is where you find these people, like where you find your friends. So I was on a hunt for a church and I found one. I joined like kind of a community group, and like that is kind of where I found my best friends now that I have. And it was kind of like, I was really like, I don't know, like these are gonna be really weird Christian kids, like they definitely aren't gonna like the story that I have coming from. And like I was like, I don't know, but I was pushed to do it and I did it, and I'm very thankful I did it. But my friends at school are like similar to my friends here from Brunswick. They're definitely Christians. They definitely have values, and but it was just different. Like I was like, I need some people that like are gonna push me in this part of my life. And you know, my volleyball friends are my friends to push me in volleyball in life. And it's just like you have different, you know, your family is there to push you in a certain part of your life. And like I needed people to push me in this part of my life and just to focus. Like I didn't want to go to my church friends and talk about volleyball. Like I don't want to do that. Like I want to talk about faith, and I want to talk about volleyball with my volleyball friends. And I really needed that, and I got it, and I found that, and that was like amazing. And it was weird because like I had rolled my ankle and my season was done in that spring, right when I had found those friends. So it was like I couldn't play volleyball anymore. I was like forced to go and like hang out with, like there was no more volleyball happening. Like I had to go, and I was like had the time. Like once again, like God kind of shut down my life and it was like, focus on this part of your life, you need it. And I did. And like those are my best friends now, and like I love them, and I couldn't do anything without them now.
That was really well. I really like how you said about the group of friends. I think that's freaking awesome. Like you said, your volleyball friends push you in volleyball. Like I really, you know, I believe in that myself. Like, you know, like you have people that get you to where you want to go in certain aspects of your life. You know, you got to keep your friend, you know. But that was really interesting to hear.
What? And like it's a thing that as like a Christian you want to, like, you know, once you find this something that has just helped you so much in your life, you want to go and like push it on other people. And like I have all of my best friends here too in Brunswick, and I'm like, well, now I have to like go and like make them be Christians, like, you know. And at first it was like, oh, I need to go, you know. And then you have to kind of like
take a step
you have to kind of like step back and be like, God's gonna put them on their own path. Like no one forced me to be a Christian. Like God had a plan for me, and like if God's gonna wants them to be with, like God wants a relationship with them, like he's gonna make it happen in his own way. And like I had to go through my experiences to get to where my faith is now, and like so is everyone else. And I can't like just go bombarding on everyone else's lives. Like that's not it's not the role I play.
If you had to give some advice to someone listening right now that's like, wow, this is like kind of inspiring, I kind of want to take the next step, where should people start? Where do you think they should go to YouTube, or should they just pick up a Bible and open up the John and just start reading? What do you think they should do?
I think it depends on like what kind of, you know, one, what you're looking for, but two, just kind of what you respond best to. Like I mean, I'm sure you guys love podcasts, like, so, and I have friends that love podcasts. So it's like, hey, you know that every, like, mostly every big church has a, like they have production put together so that they can put all their sermons on, just to make them sound like a podcast, like a motivational, like, just like, I don't know, whatever his name is, I can't remember. Anyways, just like a crime podcast, like they're all put together to sound like a podcast. There's nothing churchy about it. There's no singing. There's no nothing. It's just a podcast. And that is like where I kind of started to like, you know, be comfortable with church and like be able to walk into a church. but there's that. If you're a big reader, like obviously the Bible is like the biggest part of Christianity. Is where all is coming from. That's where, that's where God lives, is in the Bible. And so yeah, you do like probably should get a Bible, and like, but you need to like teach yourself how to read it. Like you can't just like start again, like how I did. Like I opened that thing up and I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and I had to reach out to someone. And that's another thing, is like reaching out to someone, whether you have someone in your life, you don't, reaching out to someone, which I've gotten multiple people reach out to me that I didn't even, I was like acquaintances with in high school, and they've reached out to me and been like, hey, like I have this Bible and I'm really like looking, like I'm trying to start it and I just don't know where to start. Gospels are obviously the great place to start, because the Old Testament stuff doesn't really, I mean, it means a lot, but the gospel is the juice. It's the that's the fun part of the Bible. And but yeah, it just really depends. If you're like a really big people person, and then just walk into a church and they have, I don't think people realize how intentional churches are. And maybe you're in the wrong church if they're not opening you with arms as to wherever you are in life. Every church should be like welcoming you in their doors. Like they are literally there for people who are lost and who want to learn. And I don't think people realize, and I didn't realize that, I guess, until I started working in the church, but they're so intentionally put there, and like building their sermons, building their music, building their like community, and like having people like there for parking and opening the doors. Like that is all there for those people who are walking in those doors for the first time. Like I sit on like the production team at my church, and we sit and talk, and we're like, guys, like we're doing this service today for the people who have never been here, like for those people who are first time comers. Like we are trying to get them like to come back and feel welcome and feel like they belong here. That is like the biggest thing for most churches. And I don't think people realize that. I think they think that churches are like cults, and that they like, you can't go to two different churches. You can't go there if you're not a Christian. Like, no, like that is not what that's not what they're there for.
That's interesting. So I gotta ask, because Preston made the comment about social medias. You've been kind of, a little bit more outgoing with your social medias, and obviously you have a faith and you believe in your faith, and you know what I mean? Like you love what you're doing, My question to you is, there's obviously a lot of hate that comes with social medias. We see it firsthand hosting a podcast. There's people that are saying things behind your back, and obviously words hurt. I know you believe in what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like you're proud of what you're doing, but there also brings in that aspect where like, it's not as, there's, people are saying some stuff that hurts. What's the best way to deal with that? Are you nervous of that? Does it really not bother you? Cause like, we'll be honest, we'll see something funny. We laugh at most stuff, but like some things we're like, oh, come on. Like that's a little exaggerated, like, I'm just curious on your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to be hate everywhere in the world, and, not everyone, Jesus walked the earth, and not everyone believed in him either, and so you kind of have to, people may look at you and look at your life and think that you're being manipulated into living a certain way, or that your faith it's fake, or it's I'm always going to be looked at as hypocritical or anything, but in the end it's like this. I've seen this work in my own life. I've had the experience with it. I've seen it work in my own life, like, and that's like anything that I post, or even coming on this, it's like, that's glory to God. Like I truly feel like I'm here for a reason. And whether that's for some people to laugh at it, making one person stay here and be like, wow, okay, maybe I will reach out to my brother who is a Christian, or my mom, and like ask her a question, or maybe I should question my own faith. Like, am I a Catholic, or just for that one person to question it, it's totally worth it. Like, I don't care. Like, anyone can think what they want. Like, if one person from this, like from doing this, is impacted like positively, or if they just started to question their faith, or even just like decided that they don't believe in it, like I would be happy with that, because I can like contribute to their walk with God, and that's enough for me. Like, I'm not really here put on earth to like for any other reason, truly. So
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Really well said.
Good for you. That's kick ass.
Yeah, and just like you guys, I mean, you guys are here doing this, and there's gonna be a lot of people that hate it, like, and I'm sure Joe Rogan has haters too. Like, there's there's no end to it, but you know, it doesn't really matter about who's hating. It's more who's like loving it, and more who's, you know, you're here to like spread love, not like they can hate, like let them hate.
Right. That was really well said.
Absolutely. I totally agree. All right. We got pretty deep there for a second. Let's yeah, I love it. Let's change up the pace a little bit. So we have a new segment this season. We're going on to season 3. It's called What's the Word? So what's going to happen is we have 4 words or like short sentences, and you have to respond with a word or short phrase that you think of right away when you hear it.
First thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay.
First one, the beach.
The ocean.
All right. See, they could be random. They can be. You got to be on your toes for this. We keep everyone on their toes.
Okay.
Second one, we have volleyball. Tall.
I was about to say death.
That's good.
I'm at a point. Volleyball's like highs and lows. I'm at my low point. I'm like, oh, it's such death. Just finished my season.
Yeah,
it's draining for sure.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Cool. All right, next one, Jesus.
Love.
That's a good answer.
Love that.
Jesus is love.
And then the final one, we have Kirsten Badowski.
Tall.
now I asked Noah this one too, and I'm curious your thoughts. Now, 100 years from now, say someone says the name Kirsten Badowski, what word do you want to come to mind, or what phrase do you want to come to mind?
I don't know. I would like to be known as a generous person who, you know, I would like to be known as someone who like really intentionally cared about people and being very intentional with them.
That's awesome.
Who like really got to know people for who they are very easily. I would like to be one of those people.
Love that. That's great. All right, so we're gonna keep the over underrated segment going too. So we just got one for you.
Okay.
School cafeteria food.
Over or underrated?
Overrated. How come?
Yeah. School cafeteria food? Like, what are we talking about? Like high school?
No, like
anything. College, high school, whatever.
Oh.
All of it.
All right. Then I'm gonna go back down to underrated.
Okay.
Because, you know, I think people they get in these, like, when you come in as a freshman, you're like sick. Like, look at all these options. I'm amazing. But yeah, when you eat it every day, it's gonna suck. Like, you know, you gotta like anything you eat every day is gonna suck. It's gonna get old. It's gonna like you're not gonna want to eat it every day. And so it ruins it for people. Like, I had Chick-fil-A every single day as a freshman because that was part of my meal plan. And I couldn't eat Chick-fil-A for 2 years. And I don't sit and say like Chick-fil-A is terrible now. I just like know that I ruined it for myself.
Fair.
Chick-fil-A is amazing.
Fair. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's underrated, just because like people hate on it too much. Like, what's all the hate for? It's kind of good. It's kind of good.
I think it's like a mental like this is coming from the school.
It's like
hall.
It's almost like a stigma. Yeah,
it's like it just has a negative connotation.
For sure. It's definitely underrated. I'm just gonna say that because it's food I didn't have to cook, so that's a win right there. I mean, if I'm not making it, I've had to cook because like we didn't have much of a cafeteria our first 2 years of school and COVID, weird times. I'm just gonna say underrated. All right, give us the hypothetical. We do a hypothetical each week. Cameron McClellan draws up a hypothetical. It's usually custom to whoever we have on, so we got a good one for you here.
Okay.
Would you rather live in a place with year-long Ohio weather? So, you know, like 8 months of pretty shitty weather and 4 months of, you know, decent weather with an amazing beach. Like, it is the best beach you've ever seen. Perfect sand, beautiful boardwalk.
The fun volleyball courts, not the death ones.
Yeah, crystal clear. Holy shit, you remember when we played volleyball?
Yeah, I was just thinking
in fucking Hilton Head? Oh my God. Wow, that's so funny.
We literally did.
Anyway, okay. Or would you rather live in Wilmington where the weather is pretty nice, but have like the worst beach ever, like a little Hinkley Lake? Like, that's all you get.
We get great weather,
but you get fantastic weather.
This is hard. I think I'd honestly stick with Wilmington. I know that's weird, but it's not like I'm going to the beach every single day. So I think I really enjoy the fact that like when I got home here, I was like I was getting really mad that I had to like throw on a coat to go outside. Like I like the fact that I can walk outside in a sweatshirt or like wearing shorts, or I don't have to put on boots. Like I can just wear my tennis shoes everywhere. Wow. They're not gonna get ruined. I really like that. I like how I can like have my sunroof open all the time and my windows down. Oh, the car defrosting has been the worst experience. Like heating up my car, having to like defrost the windows, or like I had to like go under, like I don't know, in my trunk, like go under like all these compartments in my trunk. Compartments? whatever the word is, in my trunk to like find my like window snow scraper. Oh, it's terrible. And that is the one thing that pisses me off about North Carolina people, is because they never ever understood like waking up in high school every day at like 6:30 and like leaving your house and trying to go to school, and like I was a late person, so I was leaving at like 7:10 to like get there before the 7:30, and you go and your car is like you can't see, and you're driving to school with like
the little circle.
I was like, you don't understand. Like you don't understand. That was the worst part about life,
without a doubt.
And I feel very privileged to not have to deal with that.
Yeah, you sound like a warm weather girl, the whole 9 yards.
So I think I'd trade that for the beach. I would.
Wow, that's awesome.
And come visit.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
Give me 8 months. I want the 8 months of crap. Builds character. I like I don't need to go to the beach. I wouldn't get a use out of like.
I grew up with it. Maybe because I grew up with it.
Yeah.
I paid my dues. I feel like
Christmas.
I paid my dues.
Yeah, like Christmas needs to be in the cold in my eyes. Like you need to be kind of somewhere cold. And,
I agree.
Like I don't know. Like I obviously 8 months kind of sucks, but like you get your days in there. There's nothing better than an Ohio day where it's 60 out and it's like, March, and it feels like it's like 110 out. You're out in shorts and a t-shirt, but it's really freezing for like the average person.
Yeah.
Those are the best. Those are the best days. You appreciate the warm days more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with year-round nice weather. I'm not a big beach guy. I'll be honest with you. The sand's more annoying.
Yeah, I'm honestly the same way. I like screw the sand. Like I'll take a pool in my backyard.
Yes. I agree. Yes, totally agree.
But yeah, it's 80 degrees today in Wilmington, if you guys are wondering.
Is this when we shut the podcast?
It's nice here today, and it's like 40. So
it's nice because there's not snow on the ground. No, there's not snow.
Yeah, true.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Your story was awesome. I hope we can touch some people, and if not, oh well. We did our best, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the love, like you said, for sure.
It is all about the love.
Kirsten. Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Kirsten.